What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Nutrition Talks with me, Tyson the Trainer. Now, I'm going to get straight into today's podcast because I am in a mood, all right? My mood is about you complaining about not seeing results, sucking that you're not seeing the progress you want to see. Every week you feel like you're trying to do better, but the scale just isn't moving. And my question to you is, do you actually give a shit about your health and fitness? Do you care about having lifelong habits? Because your actions are definitely not lining up with your words. And it's funny because everyone says it. Oh, I want to be healthier and fitter. I want to make sure that I make this a lifestyle change. I want to do something I can do for the rest of my life. I want to be fitter for my kids. I want to feel confident. I want to be able to do this. You say all these things, yet funnily enough, you do not measure any of these metrics that is aligning you with better health, with better fitness, with better well-being. None of these things are reflected in the scale. Yet every day I get at least one message, at least I should say 2 to 5 messages, about someone asking me a question about the scale, complaining about the scale, saying they're not seeing progress. And yet when I ask them about any other metric, even related to body composition, hey, do you take your measurements? Oh, no, I don't take my measurements. Okay, what about your progress photos? Well, no, I haven't taken progress photos either. Yet you're so quick to complain about the scale that literally has no impact on your overall well-being or your mental, confidence, any of those things. Perfect example for me to show you this. For a male, if you, pardon me, for a male, if you didn't give a shit about your weight and you took off your shirt and you had the body composition you wanted to at the current weight you were right now, would you give a shit about your weight? The answer is no. Same thing to a female. If you fit in the clothes you wanted to fit in, if you felt comfortable in a bikini, would you give a shit about what your weight is if you looked the way you wanted to look regardless of weight? The answer is no. Yet all you want to do is look at that fucking scale. All you want to do, what is, let's say again, if you were going to improve your overall eating habits, okay? Let's say you were eating better, you're having more fiber, you're eating more protein, you're getting your fruits and veggies in, you're doing all these things that are going to contribute to overall well-being of your health, to improve overall health markers, to reduce your risk of type 2 diabetes, to reduce your risk of cardiovascular disease, and all those other things. It's going to improve your quality of life so much by making good food decisions, but the scale doesn't move. How does that have any reference at all? It doesn't. Yet, all you do every fucking morning is you step on that scale, and if the scale is high on the one day, you crack the shits. You think I'm not making progress. If the scale is low on the other day, you let that determine, yes, I am on a good track, I am making progress. As if you're letting this fucking thing that tells you a few numbers every day determine your self-worth. And I am sick and tired of people complaining about it because it has no fucking correlation towards your overall well-being or your health. Okay? If you say you want to get stronger in the gym, how the hell is the scale going to tell you that? It's not. You know what's going to tell you if you get stronger in the gym? Well, if you're doing the movement with better control, if you are increasing the weight on the movement you're doing, or if you're increasing the repetitions you are doing. That is an improvement in strength. That has no correlation to your weight. Okay? If you say you want to eat more veggies and you're eating 200 grams of veggies extra a day, that does not have any correlation to your weight, okay? Just because you are eating healthier does not mean your weight is going to go down, all right? If you are sleeping better, if you have more energy to run for the bus, none of these things correlate to the scale. So why are you using this as your metric of progress? Why are you letting the scale determine whether the week was a success or failure? I even had this on my check-in form to my clients. It says at the very top, ignore your scale results and tell me about the progress of your week overall on a scale of 1 to 10, okay? And people still give me a shitty, like I'll read through it. I'm like, okay, so they got their fruit and veggies in, they got their protein in, they got their fiber in, they stuck to their diet, they did their training routine, like they did everything they wanted to improve their overall health. And then they still rate the scale as a 2. And I'll ask them, oh, why did you rate the scale as a 2 out of 10 for the week? And the same thing. Oh, it's the scale hasn't moved. And I'm like, oh my God. And you will just like, you have no worries at all, just completely wiping out a good week you've had. It's literally, again, it comes back to this whole boss analogy that I always like to give and a worker analogy. Like you've done a whole week's worth of work. And your boss is like, I need this done by 10 a.m. on Friday morning. You're like, sweet, I'm going to get the hustle. So you get it all done 10 a.m. You've worked extra, you've done it all, and you give it to him. You're like, hey, it's all done, it's 10 a.m. And he opens it up, he's like, yes, sweet, okay, this is all good. And then on page 5, he sees a spelling mistake and there's no comma. And there's one bit of writing that for some reason has to have a comma. And he goes, oh yeah, but you missed the comma. And you're like, oh yeah, but like, the project's on time, the comma doesn't really matter. It's not really going to change. The comma's not going to change anything. All right. And he goes, nah, this is a waste of work. You can't even do one job. I ask you to do one job and you can't even stick to that one thing. And he berates you and he tells you that you're worthless and there's no point and that your whole week was a waste of your time. He's like, you know what? You shouldn't have even come in this week because you just wasted my whole week. You missed the comma and I can't even see through this. I can't get past this. You should go home for the rest of the day. You're going to be in your head and being like, is this fucking guy serious? Like, I would literally be like, is this fucking guy serious? It's not a spelling, it's not a grammatical, what should I say? Sorry. It's not an English essay, I should say. You're not getting graded on your grammar. You're getting graded on something else with the completion of the project. But he's so focused on this comma that you missed. And he's like, I question your ability to be able to do the work. And you're sitting there like, what the fuck? Like, is this real life? Is this guy for serious? Is this guy for cereal, I should say? And, you question, like, the sanity of this person. It's the exact same thing for yourself. I'm questioning your fucking sanity and you're clueless. You are clueless because like, don't take it the wrong way. You don't know anything about fucking health and fitness. You listen to your podcasts, you'll do a little bit of research and follow some bullshit influencers, and then you think you know how to track your progress when you have no idea. So you just pick the scale. You're like, oh yeah, this is it. Oh, is my week good or bad? I don't know. Depends on what the scale says. Okay. Hey, have you eaten better? Yeah, but the scale didn't move. Have you gotten stronger in the gym? Yeah, but the scale didn't move. Stop fucking using the scale if you are someone that's only going to use that as your only measure of progress. Okay. Because you might as well not even measure your progress. You might as well just not even fucking worry about measuring progress if you're only going to use a scale. Because that has no indicator of any progress in any other area, in any area of your life, I should say. And I really want to nail this. Like, I really want to send this home because I'm sick to death of it. All right? Like, my goal, I want to teach people to build lifelong habits, to never have to rely on a coach again, and to give out the free information. Yet, for some reason, all this stuff I give out, and I know because a lot of you, like, people are like, oh, do you like pay attention to every follower? I actually do. Every new follower I get, I send a message and say thank you for following me, and then I can keep tabs. Surprise, surprise. When someone messages me 2 years ago, and I can see the conversation, and they keep messaging me the same shit again and again, and I'm like, you follow my stuff. You're not fucking stupid. I know you follow my stuff. You react to my stories. You like my posts. You listen to my podcasts because you share them, and yet you still question me about these fucking things that I talk about all the time. Just fucking do what I tell you guys to do. I give this information out for free so I can help you get results. Like, you think I'm hiding some magical secret. I don't know what the secret is, Like, I don't know what you think I might be hiding, but the truth of the matter is every single thing I give out for free, you apply and you will get results. And funnily enough, for those of you that have followed me long enough, you see the stories I post of people who just follow my free advice and get results. And funnily enough, when people message me about the results they get, 90% of the time, it's not even about the weight. All right, it's about their body composition for sure. It's about feeling better. It's about their, I've had people message me about cholesterol being lower, blood pressure being lower, stress of food not being there because they're not focusing on stupid macros anymore. All these things that are good quality of life that they're improving on, which I love. But then there are still people that ask me the simple fucking questions about the scale when I know you've listened to my thing about how to measure your metrics. When I know you see me talk about all the time showing measurements, yet people go, oh no, I don't take my measurements. Like, how many times do I have to fucking repeat myself to you? The scale is not the indicator of the progress you need. Like, let me ask you a question. If you didn't have a scale, how are you going to track if you're progressing or not? How are you going to do it? Measurements maybe, photos maybe, eating quality maybe, energy maybe, all these things that you should be using anyways. So I'm going to list off these things that you should be using as your metrics to track if you're progressing based on what you say you want to achieve, okay? So if your goal is to be overall healthier and fitter and let's say stronger and feel good, let's think about what's going to contribute to that. Good quality sleep. So are you waking up more energized? Are you sleeping well? Simple things to think about, okay? How do you track this? Even though watches aren't 100% accurate, watches can give you a good consistent feedback, which you can definitely use as a metric, all right? So sleep quality and waking up is a big important thing. Food choices. So when I say that food choices, I mean like, are you eating regularly? Are you choosing less takeaway? Are you making food that's good quality? Are you eating regularly? Are you having enough protein at each meal, or are you eating protein at each meal? Are you eating at least 2 to 5 servings of veggies a day? Are you eating 1 to 3 servings of fruit a day? Are you cutting out the mindless snacking and overeating you're doing? Are you cutting back on your alcohol consumption overall? Right? Are you choosing less shitty decisions when you do order takeaway? Are you, instead of eating a whole large Big Mac meal with 20 nuggets and also maybe an extra vanilla thick shake and then some dessert, maybe you're just having a large Big Mac and that's it with a Coke Zero? All these things for your food, like, they're all good quality changes, right? Are you going from eating takeaway 5 times a week to eating takeaway twice a week? Are you going from drinking 7 days a week to drinking 3 times a week? Are you cutting down your drinking from maybe, let's say, 12 bottles a week, which is pretty standard, let's say 14, so 2 a day, down to 8 a day, right? These are all metrics of progress. Believe it or not, your health and well-being, they're all fucking metrics that are going to measure that, all right? Like, you can literally look back and see those type of things. In the gym, like I said, are you going to the gym more frequently than you ever have been in your life? Or are you going to the gym consistently than you ever have been in your life? Have you added some type of cardiovascular exercise into your health and to your routine? Have you increased your overall activity levels by being more active during the day instead of fucking sitting on your ass all day? Have you started walking a little bit further every day than instead of catching the public transport? Have you maybe started walking down to the shops to buy things instead of driving? Have you taken a longer route on the way to the coffee? Have you stopped drinking as much caffeine so you're getting better quality sleep? I'm just rattling these things off that I'm thinking about as I'm talking about this. Is it easier for you to walk up a flight of stairs before you get exhausted, right? Is it easier for you to run after a bus without fucking keeling over and nearly having a heart attack? Is it easier for you to run after your kids? Do you have more energy during the day to do things? Instead of having that 2 p.m. slump, are you feeling good until 4 or 5 p.m.? Are you happier in your life overall? Are you less of a cunt because you're looking after yourself and you're not as fucking upset at yourself? When you look in the mirror, do you hate yourself a little bit less and you actually feel quite good about the things you're doing? Are you noticing in the gym, again, that you are increasing the weight you're using? You're getting better at the exercise and you're actually feeling it in the muscle. You're feeling more confident with how you're doing the exercise because you're doing good form. You're increasing the repetitions. You're in more of a groove. You actually feel like you're comfortable in the gym. Have you tried a sport that you've never tried before that you're really enjoying? So many things I'm rattling off here that have nothing to do with your weight, but improve your overall health and well-being, okay? When we look at people who are like living long, all right, the longest living people, the healthiest people, what do we look like to have in common? They exercise, they don't smoke, they have physical activity in their routine every single day. They have a sense of purpose, which means, like, whether it be family purpose, a work purpose, any of those things, like, they have something that they feel like they belong to. They have a sense of purpose, right? Things like that. They don't say, oh, their scale weight is this weight, all right? They're in a healthy weight. Yes, I would say that, okay? Like, they are in a healthy weight. They're not obese. So not being obese is a good one. But apart from that, they're not like, oh, everyone's between 60 and 75 kilos. It's not that, okay? The people are active. They have a good family and community around them. They have a sense of purpose. They're active every day. They're eating good food, all right? Things I just all rattled off and all that stuff, they're things you can use as metrics that if your health and wellness is improving. Because again, if you say you want to be fitter, if you say you want to be healthier, if you say you want to have, live longer, if you say you don't want to get fucking type 2 diabetes, if you say you don't want to die from blood pressure, if you basically want to live a good, healthy life and you say you want to be healthy, then start using metrics that actually reflect that, okay? Because I'll tell you what, bodybuilding on an extreme, when you go to step on the stage, you are going to be the lightest you've most likely been on that stage, but you're not going to be the healthiest you've ever been, okay? So weight is going to have no fucking correlation to that. You could be a crack addict and you could be fucking 25 kilos, 45 kilos, skin and bones, but just because that scale says you're 45 kilos does not mean you are healthy, all right? Just to help you guys understand that you need to get away from the scale. And you know what? I actually want to encourage a lot of you just to not use the scale anymore. Okay, not because like, oh, fuck the scale, you shouldn't be using it, blah blah blah. Like, if you hate seeing the fluctuations, it's because I want you to get away from the scale and learn to actually use other markers of progress to learn what progress is, to teach yourself that you're making progress. Because otherwise, all you're going to do is get fixated on the scale continuously. You're going to look at it, and every day you're going to determine that self-worth. Do I feel good today? What does the scale say? You know, you look in the mirror, you're like, oh, you know what? I've been eating pretty good this week. I feel really happy with the choices I'm making. You step on the scale, I fucking hate myself. Okay, cool. The next day, you actually ate pretty shitty last night. You had less volume overall in your food because you had less fruit, less veggies, and you basically, let's just say you got home, you ordered takeaway, it was some fucking, you know, some bullshit food, and you ate it. It was Macca's, it was a large Big Mac meal, and that's all you had for the day. And then you wake up in the morning, you're lighter, and you're like, oh yeah, I feel good about myself, even though I ate Macca's last night. Like, you let this scale basically determine your self-worth, but also like reinforce whether you're making good or bad choices. And it's like, holy fuck, man. Imagine just like one metric. Again, going back to the boss. Oh, you got a comma, well, you know, you fucked up the whole thing. And you're like, mate, give me a break. You are your own worst boss, okay? So please start using these metrics that you actually say you care about to measure your progress. Go and make a little Excel spreadsheet and then write down things that you want to use as tracking metrics, okay? Doesn't mean every day you have to enter 50 different things, but maybe for you, what is better, like what's a better quality of life? Ask yourself that question. What is a better quality of life for you, okay? Is it sleeping better? Is it eating better? Is it exercising a certain amount of time? Whatever it's going to be. Because everyone's going to be different. Everyone's going to have a different amount of time. Everyone's going to have a different amount of focus. Everyone's going to think about what health is to them, you know? Health for me is not fucking getting any man-made disease, basically. Is that the right word to say? Anything that can be caused, that can be prevented. So anything I get that is preventable is an issue. So if I get fucking diabetes, if I have high blood pressure, if I, you know, cause myself any type of cardiovascular health issues, that is not healthy because it is preventable through lifestyle intervention. So I know for me that exercising daily is one of those things that's important to keep my body composition in a, like, you know, 16% and below, which means anything below 16%, I'm in a healthy range, okay? Doesn't mean I have to get to fucking 10%. Doesn't mean I have to be shredded all year round, but below 16% is a healthy range. It means for me with my diet, choosing lower saturated fat foods, because saturated fat is not good for you in the long run with high amounts of it, is having less red meat during the week, so I try and limit my red meat consumption, is making sure I get my omega-3s for my cardiovascular health and my brain health, is making sure that I get my fruits and veggies in, because that's also going to be the vitamins and minerals and the fiber I need. Like, they're my criteria for overall health. I know what I need to do in order to be healthy. Not fucking my weight, but to be healthy and to prevent diseases that are literally caused by just our overall actions, right? If it's a preventable disease, I'm going to make sure that I'm doing things for my health that are going to prevent that, all right? That's what I know my measure of success is. Am I taking care of my cardiovascular health? Am I looking after my strength? Am I making sure I'm getting good quality sleep? Things like that are fucking important, you know? Do I avoid smoking cigarettes? Tick, okay? Like, do I smoke weed? Yes. Do I smoke cigars occasionally? Yes. But it's like, I'm not fucking smoking cigarettes every day, okay? I'm not taking drugs every weekend. I don't drink alcohol for what, 90% of the year? Like, I'll probably drink alcohol once a quarter because I know at the end of the day, it's not fucking good for you. And like, I'm not saying you have to cut out alcohol, but everyone's gonna have their version of health and what health looks like. And if someone's version of health is drinking 6 drinks a week instead of 14 drinks a week, that's a good metric for you to follow. But you have to have your own metrics, okay? I've given you a list of things you can go through in order to pick and choose which ones you want to have, but use those as your markers. Do not use these stupid fucking scale to determine whether you're on the right track or not, all right? I think I gave you like 50 different metrics to go from. Use them as your criteria. Throw the fucking scale out the window, okay? Because again, I guarantee you tomorrow, if you fit in the clothes you wanted to fit in, if you wanted to feel confident with your shirt off and you didn't see the scale weight, but you achieved what you wanted to achieve, you wouldn't give a fuck about the scale. That's why I'm telling you to change your mindset about the fucking scale, okay? And I even say to my clients, don't weigh yourself if you don't want to. I don't give a shit about your weight. For me to know if you're making progress or not has nothing to do with your weight. If I see your weight stabilize but your measurements go down, why would I give a shit what your weight says, okay? This is what I don't understand with people. If your waist comes down by 3 centimeters, which is a fucking sizable amount, but you're like, oh, my weight hasn't changed. Okay, do you fit your clothes better? Yes, I do fit my clothes better, but your weight hasn't changed, correct. Why is that an issue? No one ever has an answer. Okay, well, like, you fucking focused on the wrong thing, you know? So I hope this bit of a rant has helped open your eyes a little bit. If you still struggle with this and you need someone to keep you accountable to help change your directory and actually focus on the things that matter that you say you give a shit about, but you need someone to tell you this is what I've got my coaching for. So you can send me a DM on Instagram. In fact, I encourage you to send me a message on Instagram if you're interested to learn more about coaching, because I'll show you how to get the results you want without focusing on stupid things and how to keep them. All right? And if you did enjoy this podcast, give it a share, because I know it's going to help a lot of people and wake them up to get a bit of sense of clueness in what they need to be focusing on instead of focusing on the wrong things. Until next time, guys, I'll speak to you then.